Well, as promised, I will do a turbo unwrapping. Some gaskets. GCG. Wow. What is that short for? Something to do with Garrett, I guess. Got important instructions. Got a magazine. Winning. Is it JLM? Okay, I'll have a look at that stuff later. Right. I think this is what they call V-bands. Just to hold the front and rear together. Now this is going to be a twin turbo setup. It's just like jewelry, you know what I mean? Beautiful. I'll need a housing for that. This will be the housing. I'm just wondering, should I get these powder coated? Or just put some blankets on them? Now these are mirrored turbos, right? So I'll show you in a second what I mean. I think I've assembled the other one already. Yeah. Well, come on. Oh, big boy. As you can see here, they're mirrored. Normally turbos would both point in the same direction, but when you have a mirrored set, you end up with two that face each other, so they can both run to the intake manifold in the same direction. Even the boost part, the cold side of the turbo, is also mirrored. So yeah, it just makes for a better looking installation. The pipe work will look better if you have it mirrored. Otherwise, as you can imagine, right, this one here would be going this way, and you would have to turn it like this, coming out, one on angle like that, another one like that, and then come together that way. But now you can have a nice V join and have them join in the middle. So yes, that is the plan anyhow. Hope you can see enough. So we got, I'll probably leave them together now. Why is this one still heavy? There are bits and pieces in there. I guess all the small boxes came in a big box, I'm not really sure. Then I've got the Turbo Smart waste gates, which I haven't had a look at yet. This will be tighten it up. I've already got Turbo Smart bits like fuel pressure regulators and stuff. That's pretty. This is all going to be very new to me. I'm not sure if there's springs in there already. But these springs will decide how much boost before the valve opens up. And then you've got the bits and pieces to make up the system. Some nice clamps. Very good. I wasn't actually sure. So these go I'm a noob when it comes to turbos. I've never ever owned. Have I owned a turbo vehicle? No, I don't think I've ever owned a turbo vehicle. So this is all really wildly wildly new to me. And like you got waste gates, I have to release. Wow, I should have researched all this stuff already. It's already open a little bit. How come? Why is there a slight gap in there? Where do you see? Can you see the gap? See? It's got a slight gap in there. I wonder why. Is this one the same? Yes, this one too. Why? And that leaks a lot of air. I wonder if there's springs in there already or not. I'm not sure. So you've got two types of valves on a turbo, right? You've got your boost valves, which is like when you take your foot off the accelerator, your turbos are still spinning flat out and building boost into your intake manifold, and they open up to let that pressure out. And these are for the exhaust side. I am going to do so much learning on this project, right? A supercharger would have been a lot easier, but not as much fun. I can go in the toolbox. But yes, anyway, these are, this is a WG50 generate 5th gen Pro grade, but the turbo doesn't actually say on the box. They do have a newer generation after this one, but they're not available for a few more months. Wow. G30. So these are two G30s. Really still 30 for twin? I wonder what, I remember when I was young, everything was like T30, T35, 40, 45, and that basically measured the impeller opening, which would not work in this way, because this is still Can I have a tape measure here? Extreme. Wow, still 55 millimeters. Damn, these are two big turbos really. They're bigger than what I was expecting, but Tristan at WTF Auto, he did all the calculations for me. He's a full bottler on turbos, I'm not. He got me this special deal as well. He ordered all these together for me. He said I didn't need the boost relief. I'm so embarrassed I don't know more about the setup. He said because I always thought if too much boost built up in the intake manifold, right, when you de-accelerate and the turbine is still spinning, you get way too much boost, because the boost bounces back into the turbo, and then that's when you get that noise every time you de-accelerate it. And I said to him, well, doesn't that damage the turbo? And he said, in earlier, older cases and cheaper turbos, yes, but he said 90% of the turbos he does are Garrett, and he's never ever had a single problem not installing that. So I left it out for now, and I thought, well, if I ever do want to install or get rid of that noise, if the noise drives me nuts after a while, I can always install them later. It's not a difficult thing to do. So, but then these, that's what I thought these would do. Assembled in Mexico. Well, not China. You may have noticed I'm not a big fan of Chinese products. Right? Not a big fan. Mexico. So that's good. Yeah, so this is what I've got. I've got two, I've been asked, G30s, 770 standard. I'm not sure what the 770 stands for, but they were manufactured on the 26th of March 2024, so they're not old stock at all. So oh, this is the exhaust side. What am I doing? Oh, here we go. What is the intake side? Let's have a look. Oh well, it's the same. Actually, it's a bit more. 57 millimeters. The opening is 57 millimeters. That's the inlet. The outlet is 45. And exhaust in is similar to the turbo in at 54 millimeters, and it's the same too. In and out is the same, but normally turbos are rated here, right? The old ways they were measured this way, and this would be T55, I guess, in the old measuring way. 55 millimeters. Yep. That's where the sensor goes. Yep, they have one there too. You dare drop them, boy. Don't you dare drop them. So, sucking, and when you do that, you can actually just, I can feel that blowing when I spin it. I can feel, even just spinning with my fingers, I can feel a slight breeze coming out, which is pretty impressive. So yeah, there's the unboxing of my Garrett turbos. And my Turbo Smart 14 PSI black. Does that mean there's 14 PSI in there already? Because we did talk about going 2 atmospheres. And I guess that's what these will do. If you add these, do you think it's safe to remove one? How tight are they? Oh yeah, they're tight. Yeah. Nah, I'll just leave them in for now. I thought if they were relatively loose, I would have a look. But, yeah. I am surprised that there's a gap in there. But like I said, maybe there's more adjustment. Or a vacuum or something. But these are also water cooled. So these would have to be on the exhaust side then, I guess, to keep them cool. If we've got water flowing through them to keep these cool, then surely these go on the exhaust side. But I don't understand how the exhaust would need... Wow, it's windy out there. I'm not sure how pressure would build up in the exhaust. Let me guess. Does it go it goes between the engine and the turbo to let the pressure off. When the turbine slows down, turbo slows down, okay, exhaust gases come out, turbo slows down, acting like a valve closing, and to make sure the exhaust gases keep flowing. Did I work that out right in my nugget? Like I said, it's all new to me, and I'll show you how I plan to mount them for now. Okay, for now. I've been in a lot of pain and I haven't actually been back to the workshop since I last filmed the clutch. But I just want to show you the plan so far. Let me bring my trusty little chair. Woo! All right. It's a little bit high. Okay. Can I see the engine? Yeah. All right, so the plan is, imagine the heads are on, have some inverted shorty headers, so instead of the exhaust going out the back, going to come out the front. I'll put a picture up on the screen of a set, similar set that I'm thinking of getting. Alright, so they're going to come out. Yep. And then I'll be placing them here somewhere, one on each side. Damn, I wonder what these things weigh. 15, 20 kilos? What's that, like 30 pounds? Whew, I think. Yeah, so I'll be sitting about here. And then air coming out. Then going into the, from here into the intake manifold. That's how I'm planning it at the moment. So doesn't mean that's how it's going to be. It all depends on when I work on the engine bay, how it's all going to be set up. The thing with a project like this is, the problem with a project like this is 10% is doing it. I say 20% is of the job is doing it. 80% is working everything out in your head the rest of the day, the rest of your time. Now if you can work everything out in your head properly, things will fit together pretty well. I mean, look at the bell housing and the clutch. That was all up in here, calculating measurements, stud patterns, sizes, teeth, you know, the type of clutch, and it goes on and on and on, having all that information in your head, and then going online, looking at parts and their measurements, and seeing what will work. So I found that the con rods are compatible with some of the Gen 3 Hemi, or even some of the LS rods. The dimensions are very similar. But I think the rods we're looking at are LS rods, and we need to do a little bit of machining on these rods to make them fit, but not a lot. Not a lot of machining. I hope to hear back from Nick at ARAM soon, and I know he's just retired from the service. Thank you for your service, Nick. So yeah, he's like just retiring now from that, so he's been busy setting up his life again, all over again. So and I'm not in a super hurry for the rods yet. I mean, I haven't even stripped this block. I should drain the oil out while it's here. I'll do that when I finish filming. I'll put a tray under there and I'll pull the plug. Have to buy another engine stand, the other one is being used. So yes, the turbo I plan to put at the front here. So far, I'm deleting the aircon. I never use aircon. I always just drive around my window down. So the air conditioner that sits here will be removed. The power steering will be removed and replaced with electric. I just want to make room at the front here. So the engine mount shouldn't be in the way. But I'm not a big fan of these engine mounts. I'm thinking of using a motor plate, but then apparently you need a motor plate at the back. And I was thinking last night, I was saying to you guys, I'm thinking of putting studs here. Well, if I do that, I can use that to have a hanging motor plate off the firewall. So yeah, so I'm considering motor plates as well. But like I said, it all depends on the job when you're working on it. It's not until you're on there with your hands and you see all the dimensions in your face with your eyes, and it's when you can start working things out. You can geometry wise you can do roughly in your mind, but it's not complete until you have it all in front of you. And I love that. I love doing that. The sorting, the measuring, the thinking about it. Yeah, I really love doing it. I could have studied and studied and studied and worked out myself what size turbos, but since other people are already really qualified at doing that, that's not a priority thing that I need to learn right now, is what size. Apparently these two are good for 1200 horsepower, so they will do what I need. Probably start really kicking in at 3,500 RPM to 4,000 RPM, and I'll probably set this to red line at 8,000 RPM. Another thing that's come up is these bores, as far as I know, these are stockers. There's no markings on them. I still have to measure them up. But these bores have no lip, no wear or tear, right? So, do I sleeve them or leave them? Sleeve them or leave them? Let me know in the comments. Do you think I should sleeve them with a top quality sleeve, or do you think this engine's okay to leave? Of course, I will ask the engineering company that's going to do the machining for their opinion as well. But like I said, I've seen two of these with cracks in the bore, and it makes me wonder how thick the walls are. So, of course, it'll save me a lot of money if I don't need to sleeve them, you know. As you can imagine, money is running low. So, yes, I would much prefer to not having to sleeve them. I mean, there is a slight little scratch on this one. There's only one scratch and it's minute, I think, but it feels of it, it's also raised a little bit, so I could probably hone it out. So what is your opinion, please? Sleeve it or leave it? Sleeve it or leave it? And then I just get stock pistons. Otherwise, I'll get them sleeved and I'll go for the biggest oversized piston, which will make it roughly a 4.9 something, almost a 5 litre, I guess, if I take it out to the maximum size. Depending on the Ross pistons, what size, forged pistons, what sizes they come in. I remember I worked out with the other engine I built 10 years ago that it was almost, I took that out to the max, and that almost, you know, that went to 4.9 litres or something. So, is there a benefit in making the capacity just a little bit bigger? You know, it would have to add 20 horsepower, I imagine, by boring it to the maximum size. So, I still have to work that out. I don't believe they're oversized. There's no markings on the pistons, and if they are oversized, they're usually marked. And these are all stock. So, and the rest of the engine is stock. I mean, it's hardly any. There's a little bit of wear on the guide here in the middle. Top there isn't, but the middle there's a little bit. It's not even 1 millimeter. So, I'd be surprised if this thing's done 100,000 kilometers. I don't think it has. There is zero lip on these bores. Zero. Zero lip. There's nothing. So, leave it or sleeve it, I don't know yet. So, these babies, one each side. And another good thing about having an engine plate is I can use the engine plate to help mount the turbos. You know, I could weld some brackets onto the engine plate to help make the turbos more steady and not just hanging off the exhaust. I have seen that on some racing applications where they used an engine plate and then they use brackets to help that hold the turbo. So that's another benefit of an engine plate, because it's quite a bit of weight and there's a lot of vibrations in an exhaust. So I'm not 100% sure if you normally always have brackets to secure a turbo. If there is, I don't see any mounting points for it except for where the back plate is. Still things I've got to work out. I mean, all these things will come together in the end. The reason I didn't, like I said, didn't want to study about what size turbos is because I've still got about the hull tech. I've got to learn about that and repinning that, and I've also got a gearbox conversion to do that no one's ever done before. So it's probably a twin turbo setup no one's ever done before on one of these, in one of those. A gearbox conversion I've never heard of being done before on one of those, and I've never heard of a hull tech being used on one of those. So I'm going to do all these three things in my head, and having to teach myself on top of that how to do this is how to work out which size turbo is, just not on my mind at this time, as long as it's right size for what I'm doing. I think when I was talking to Tristan, the reason we've got the turbo separated is because the exhaust part turbine housing, I think, is one step smaller than the turbo part for quicker spooling. From memory, from our conversation, okay? If I'm wrong, I could be wrong. But this is a M75, and what was the turbo again? Something 30, wasn't it? But then the inlets and outlets are similar size, so, or maybe we're talking about if need be we could go for a smaller housing to speed it up if I wanted boost to come on sooner in the future, depending on the application. Like if I put these on and I find out they're not building boost till 5,000 RPM, something like that, I can reduce the size of the exhaust turbine housing, and that will make it spool up quicker. But you also lose top end, I believe. Yeah, you sacrifice something. You always, with an engine, if you adjust one thing, you sacrifice another. So, but he calculated these two to be a good fit for my engine. So I'm sure he did the best he could, and I'll be very happy when it's done. But I am surprised they look a lot bigger. The turbos look bigger than I was expecting it to be. 100%, man. These look bigger than what I expected. I thought they'd be a bit smaller. I really did. Want a close look? And that's the exhaust part, turbine, and then that will spin the inside, the compressor. And I guess these go rusty over time, but then you put a blanket over them anyway, don't you? Which is better for the turbo and performance anyway. So you got your oil lines and you got your water cooling lines, which I've only learnt about probably a few years ago, that they do water cooling on turbos. I don't know how long that's been a thing. I found out only a few years ago. I thought they only had oil. But if there is water, a water passage to cool it down, of course I will install it. Yes. One thing about the build, I'm a little bit concerned about is the oil pump situation. I know I'm going to restrict oil going to the valve train. Should I first build this and then see how the oil pressure situation goes, or should I straight away go for an external oil pump to either replace the internal oil pump or to assist it? I'm not sure yet. All these things still have to happen. So much has to happen still. So I doubt very much this will be finished anywhere time this year. Especially since we haven't been out of this house for 6-7 years. So we desperately need a family break. Actually, no, we did go for a drive down south for a few days. So yeah, as a family, what, 3 years ago. So I guess you could consider that a holiday, but we really need to get out for our own sanity. I'm kind of keen to stay here and work on this as well, but you know, a break would be nice too. So anyway, there's the turbo reveals. The Garretts, brother Garrett, the two brothers who are going to make my life wonderful. I can't wait to hear these puppies spool up. But I thought I saw an instruction booklet somewhere that says, oh, read this before the instructions, and I'm looking for it, I can't find it. Important instructions inside. Before replacing a turbo installation, correct gaskets, oil filters, air hose, air cleaner, engine breather system. Yep, I've got the can there. Clean flange surfaces, turbo installation. Yeah, this is just about replacing a turbo. Yep, that's not bad. Survey. Yeah, I can do that. I wouldn't mind earning $500. And this is just advertising for mechanics in a can, by the looks of it. Not a big fan of mechanics in a can. There is some products, additives that are very good, of course, like my engine oils. Most engine oils already have very good additives. It's like zinc and all that sort of stuff. If you change your oil regularly all the time, and you use a good quality fuel, these things don't make much of a difference, and sometimes they can actually do damage because a lot of them are high in detergent to clean up. So yeah, so this is just advertising. So that's the only information that came with them, is in these two little books, and the instructions online for the Turbo Smart. So I'm going to pack these up again, because I'm not going to be needing them for like a few hours, a few weeks, and probably a bit longer than even a few weeks. But just having them here is exciting. If I could, I would put them on display to encourage me to keep working hard on the project, but I don't want them to start getting surface rust and stuff on them yet. So I'm going to box them up. I may put a clamp on them and to hold them together, and then put them in some boxes and put them on the part shelf. And next job is the clutch and making sure the distances are correct. That'll be my next upload. That was supposed to be this upload, but since, excuse me, Crocams. Hello? Yeah, mate. Not bad. Yeah. Yeah, can you send an invoice to my email address, please? At gmail.com. Yeah. Yeah. Just yeah, just transfer with my bank. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll do it later when I'm inside. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye bye. Cams are done. That was Crow cams. Cams are finished. Another step done. That was probably one of my biggest anxieties, honestly guys, is finding someone who is willing to help me out with my camshafts. That was the hardest thing, because you can have the big asses turbos hanging off your engine, but if you engine doesn't breathe, you've got nothing, right? You're pushing air into something that doesn't want to breathe. So these cams, that's just huge. I can't wait to see what the sheets are like, what the dimensions and the duration and the advance. I can't wait to see all that and compare it to other cam sheets, spec sheets I've got, and see how different they are. So yes, that'll be very exciting indeed. And thank you, Crow Cams, for helping me out, because that was scary, because I'm doing this build and I wasn't sure if I was going to find anyone who was able to help me out. You see in all the forums online, you see people like, you know, where can I find camshaft? Where can I find camshafts? You know, who will do camshafts? And everyone is asking, and I'm like, wow, is this really so hard? And yes, apparently it is quite hard to just make some camshafts on something that you don't have blanks, or no blanks. You have to use the second-hand camshafts. So in a blank, there's lots of meat, lots of metal on there, so you can do all the grinding. But when you're using existing camshafts, you have to make it fit within the lobe that's already there, right? So yeah, it's a lot more difficult. And also you need the profiles. Like when you have a cam grinding machine, you need to put the profiles into the machine, and then the grinder reads the profile at the same time, and that's how you get the correct profile. But they don't exist for this engine. So I'm presuming he's used the profiles of a similar camshaft to do a similar job. So there must be thousands of options on that he's been able to use. So, and that's another thing that you need knowledge on, right? So without all these people, Aram, Tristan from WTF, Crow Cams, without these people, I probably couldn't do this. So thanks to everyone who has been helping me on this project so far. I'm sure there will be more to come. But so far, I've got lots of parts and not much work on the vehicle done yet. But the thing is, if you don't have the parts ready, when you do start working on a vehicle, that's even worse. So you're better off having everything ready. So when you start building it, you've got everything already. You don't have to wait for it. Like, oh, okay, waiting for the turbos now. I've got the pipes all set up and not having the turbos. And then, oh, okay, I need different camshafts now. Another few months go by. I want to have everything ready, right? So this project is a project I've wanted to do for 10 years. And a lot of parts I've had for a long time. I've been buying them up for a long time to do this, and now it's all coming together. So thank you for watching. I'd love a like, I'd love a subscribe, I'd love it if you shared it. And people can follow me on this build. I know I'm not the most exciting person to listen to or the funniest person to listen to. I don't even have a voice for radio, let alone a face for the TV screen or the computer screen. But I hope that my stuff is interesting enough for you to subscribe, like, and to watch. I hope it's good enough for that, and I hope my content is worth watching so you can learn something from it, you know, or copy. I've spoken to a few people now and they said, yes, I've always wanted to do that, but you know, limited knowledge and stuff. And someone said they wanted to do a nice V8 build, so they're going to watch and follow on that. And yeah, so, and I do the same thing, but there's not a lot of twin turbo stuff available for this engine. So I'm kind of like a guinea pig, but that's okay. And who knows, this may turn out so good that, you know, multiple people will copy the idea. Who knows? You know, it's quite a small, light V8, and if I can get a reliable 1,000 horsepower out of it, you know, without killing it too much, you know, then it's been a build worth doing, right? So, according to a lot of people, 1,000 horsepower should be easy. Now, I'm talking about flywheel horsepower, right? Not wheel horsepower. Engine horsepower. I don't think I can make wheel horsepower that reliably with this engine. I'm not, maybe. What do you reckon? Let me know. Should I go for engine 1,000 horsepower or wheel horsepower? So a wheel horsepower would be what? Yeah, that would be, what they say, 20%, 25%? No, that'd be crazy. That'd be 1,250 horsepower at the engine flywheel. No, I was hoping to get a 1,000. Like, if I get 750, 800 at the wheel, I'll be wrapped. Yeah, I'll be wrapped. I can't wait to take it out off the road and floor it and throw dirt everywhere. Or do a four-wheel drive donut. Yeah. Can't wait to do some good old burnouts. I've got lots of spare tires ready. Yeah, looking forward to it. That's probably the invoice. Yep. Wow, that is reasonable. Honestly, man, that is super reasonable, Crow. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That will help me a lot. I was thinking a lot more, so I'm really grateful. Thank you. That's very decent of you. Well, I'll finish this. I'll go and pay this. I'm very grateful for all the help I've had from Crow, especially Martin. Thank you, Martin. And this is a reasonable price, in my opinion, for what they've done. Extremely. Thank you. Well done, guys. Thank you. And when they come in, probably next week, I'll do an unboxing and we'll go over the profile together, shall we? All right. Well, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and all that good shit. And I'll see you again next time. Health permitting, that is my problem. I can't do daily uploads because of pain. I'm on lots of painkillers at the moment. So all I'm doing is an unboxing. I wasn't even going to do this today because I'm sitting at home in pain. I'm like, okay, I'll get out and do an unboxing because I was kind of excited to have a good look at them anyway. But my health is another thing that is difficult. I'm probably a 6 out of 10 in pain at the moment. So yeah, anyway, don't have to bore you with all that. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Wow.